Salah can complain all he wants, like Slot did maximize Salah in his first season. So every time Salah got the ball, he was one-on-one in the final third in the opposition half, and then the tactic was to isolate him, and the same thing he did it this season as well, but just that Salah was not as effective as he was in the previous season. Probably the teams figured out like how to handle Salah, or there was no Trent to put Salah in a position in that final third. Instead, he had to drop back to midfield to get the ball with Bradley and Gravenberch, and that kind of limited his effectiveness. This is what Slot did in first season, and I think some of the fine art games in Slot, what he did was like his idea was to isolate wingers in the last third one-on-one with their defense. So he expects quality from his wingers. So he expects the quality of wingers to be overcome the defenders and then create chances. Salah did this perfectly. So one thing he did in the first season is maximize Salah. Slot did maximize Salah in his first season. Every time Salah got the ball, he was one-on-one in the final third in the opposition half, and then the tactic was to isolate him, and the same thing he did it this season as well, but just that Salah was not as effective as he was in the previous season. Welcome to another episode in YouTube for Chai and Clean Sheets with me, Sheik, JD and Jins. So today we are going to preview what is in store for our summer transfer window and what signings we are going to make. And after hearing the news, most of the outlets are saying Slot is going to stay next season. We are just going to look at what Slot wants to achieve and if any signings will make our team better next season. So guys, hopefully I'll show what I saw with Slot we was trying to achieve this season. Like I said, I'm going to talk in support of Slot this video, and we'll see what signings will improve this tactics and improve our squad.
Before everything, somebody call Vivek and let him know. Sheik is support.
Yeah. So I see. So what I believe is like having seen the Premier League season, I think I still think we are the third best team in the league, and we are not million miles away from winning the league. So I believe like we are still better than Manchester United. I think Manchester United won't win the league next season, but I think we have a chance to win the league. We can beat this Arsenal team to the league title next season if we get our tactics and have the right players. The reason I say that is like the players we have are like good quality. They have won the league before, and I think whoever we signed are also quality players. There are like little bit tactical tweaks that are needed. We saw what we saw in the first season from Slot and what worked, and why the same thing did not work this season, and what signings we can make to improve and get to what we were playing before, and what Slot is trying to achieve. Any thoughts, or you still think Slot out?
This is
I know. I still think Slot out because the players that we have, I still feel like his trainings are not up to standards. We are making basic errors, and defending as set pieces, we are acting like cones. So like the training cones, right? So if a manager can't improve on these basic things, then I don't think he should be here.
Yeah, I'm with Jins on this one. I mean, I'll put it this way: it's a good theoretical exercise, Sheik, to think slotted. And to be very honest, I think that's where things are going probably. But from a practical standpoint, I don't know what the situation is, so I'll still be.
So all these set pieces, those things can be solved with coaching. So if we hire the right set piece coach, the team will improve, and I believe that. I think, from the way we played with the Jurgen Klopp's team, right, we need to evolve. So I think Slot is trying to achieve that. Yeah, he failed dramatically this season, but I'll tell you what he wanted to achieve. So you can see like this is how we started the season. So basically we had this 4-2-2-2 system. This is what Slot was trying to achieve. So he wanted to achieve this box in the midfield. So what Slot intended to solve this season was to how we can bypass the low block and how we can improve the squad in that manner. So he envisioned this. So basically in our title winning season, we played like this, right? So we might have, let's say, a 4-3-3 with Darwin Núñez here and probably Luis Diaz here, or Luis Diaz here and Cody Gakpo here, right? And Szoboszlai was right here, and you had Trent and Gravenberch and McAllister here and Robbo here. The in first last season, what he did was like he pushed Salah wide, and then all our right back made this underlapping run always. So Trent made this, Robbo made this, and Salah was wide here. So what is different with Salah this season is like Salah is getting the ball here and not here, and he is always one-on-one here and not here. You know what I'm saying? So his the whole tactic of Slot is to isolate the white players one on one, like either Gakpo or Salah with somebody in here, and then your midfielders support Salah, and then like Bradley make this. Trent Alexander-Arnold make this underlapping run, and the same on the other side as well. And Salah, like he will always be one on one in this area of the field and not here. So what changed this season is like when we started our season, this was basically our starting 11. So Bradley started at right back, Kirkus started at left back, and then we had Konate and Van Dijk and Allison here, and Gravenberch and McAllister, and then Wirtz was floating around here. So he wanted to make this like midfield overload so that we could beat the low block and then like these interchange and things like that. And the idea was to use Kirkus and Bradley in these spaces. Okay, so while this happened, what happened was Salah, instead of receiving the ball here, I'll come to that problem of Trent, like why he was not receiving the ball here and why he was receiving the ball here. It's because we didn't have Trent. So our build-up play from the back, right? So teams, what they did was like they let Konate have the ball, and Konate had Gravenberch and Bradley to pass the ball to. So neither of these, Gravenberch and Bradley, could not find Salah like the way Trent did. So let's say, for example, if you're here and your opponent's player, I'll show you one clip. Okay, this is Manchester City in our game. Okay, so Konate had the ball, and this is Dominic Szoboszlai here, and this is Konate, and they let Van Dijk free, and whenever Konate had the ball, they let him have the ball, and they did not give him any options to pass through. So when we play this clip through, right, these two will pass, and then the ball will go back to Mamardashvili, and our build-up breaks down. So in the same scenario, imagine Trent being here. So Salah is somewhere here. So if the ball goes here, even they press Trent, what Trent will do is like either he can go this way and using his left foot find Kirkus who is standing here, or what he can do is he can put it over the top here to find Salah. Or he can go wide and then find Kirkus here, and the whole field opens up. So Szoboszlai cannot do that, because the only long pass he has is like if he plays from on this side, and then like he can pass this way. So Szoboszlai cannot pass this way. So that's his weakness. Only he can pass this way. But if Trent is here, like he will pass here and he will pass here. So that comes back to Salah. So when Trent does this pass here, he will be here one-on-one with the defender here on the last third. So now since Bradley and Gravenberch are playing, he has to fall down here to get the ball. Okay. So when this happens, the midfielder, the winger, or whoever is playing on the opponent can double up Salah. And this happened far too many times. So this is our, I'll show you one this is our Everton game. So this look at Salah where he gets the ball. This is one-on-one with Mykolenko. So with Salah standards, if Salah was 23 or 24, like even 25, 26, he'd have taken on Mykolenko and it had gone there, and then he would have beaten him and he would have got up, created a goal scoring opportunity for himself. So when I let this clip play on, what he will do is Mykolenko will easily cut out Salah and he'll go back. So on one-on-one, Salah was not as effective as he was last season. That's one factor. And the second factor is Salah is always isolated. So they are pressing on this side, they're closing the gap down. Salah is isolated. Szoboszlai, who is supposed to be here, he was always there for last season, was not there. And the right back this game, Joe Gomez, right? So he is supposed to make the run, underlapping run here, and he did not make that run. So this happened in all the games. So Salah one-on-one isolated, Szoboszlai not near him, and the right back's not making the runs. So this tactic is perfectly fine for Slot, like isolating Salah in one-on-one situation. This should be an effective situation for us, right? Considering Salah's quality, right? So this should be an effective tactic. He should be able to go here and then take the space and score the goal. But Salah was not able to get past Mykolenko on this. So this happened in all the games. He struggled against Gyökeres, he struggled against Luke Shaw, he struggled against not Luke Shaw. He struggled against a lot of the left backs in the league. Even against Crystal Palace, he was found out. Like he couldn't. So dribbling is a young man's game, right? So Rio was more effective than Salah dribbling this season. So that's why us buying Diamande next season, when Diamande is in position, I'm very sure that he's going to go in there and put in a cross for Isak. So or he's going to create a goal scoring opportunity for himself. So I'll also show the same thing with Gakpo, right? So this is, so I'm sorry for the bad picture. So Gakpo is somewhere here with the ball, okay? And this is Rabo, and this is Wirtz. There is one Everton defender here, and actually there is another level. Two Everton defenders are here. So Gakpo has the ball here. Gakpo he cannot go down this side. But the only thing he can do is he can go here, or he can bang across here. So once he goes here, like he'll take a shot. So to take that shot, you already have two Everton defenders who can block the shot. I think that is what happened in this play if you let this play. But if I don't know why Robertson is standing there. Like if Robertson makes this run over here, this Everton defender goes with him, and Gakpo can get into this space instead of going here. Okay, and the same thing with Wirtz, right? So they have to stretch the field. I don't know why these players are not doing that, and this is where Rio is like a little bit different, because like when he gets the ball, like his first instance, like he will have like three options. He can go here, he can go here, or he can go down the left. So I think, or even if he signed Bradley Barcola here, like he is again a young athletic guy, like, and he can do this. Slot's tactic in getting the ball to the wingers is working fine. It's just that we need better wingers, not Salah and Gakpo. Okay, that's my first thing. And if we sign Diamante instead of Salah, and let's say we get Rio here or Brady Barcola here and get Isak here, and this will automatically start working again. We will find players here one-on-one in this position instead of them being here or here. And when we find one-on-one on our wingers, like dribbling again is a young man's game. It's not Salah's game anymore, at least this season. So Salah was not able to go down here because he was easily covered, and he was not going here because he's being crowded out. So I think with Diamante, we will improve this, and then we'll create more goal scoring opportunities. So it is like Slot saying, I am maximizing you, Salah and Gakpo, on the wings. Now it's up to you to show your quality, the price we pay and the salary we pay you to show your quality and score goals. So that's what Slot thought when he came into the season, and that's what he tried to find out, but these two were ineffective in doing so because they were not able to beat their man. This happened the whole season. So next thing is, well, let's come back to our right side of defense. So you see what City did with Konate. I think most of the teams did that with Konate. They did not let Van Dijk have the ball. For one thing I can say is, like, Van Dijk is our best passer, right? Like once he has the ball, he can do this, he can do this, and he can do this.
Yeah.
Like this is a very underrated quality for Van Dijk. But because of that, the teams are not allowing Van Dijk to have the ball. So what they do is they form a line over here, and then they let Konate have the ball. So what happens is Konate passes the ball to the right back passes, tries to, right back is not Trent anymore. So Bradley normally takes it on and then loses it somewhere here. And Frimpong does not have the ability to take anybody on in this year. At least he only does it better when he is here. So Frimpong always looks for short passes, not the long passes. So we need to replace somebody in the right back who does that for us, who can help us in our build-up game. So who can do that if we have to buy a right back? So one name that comes up in all the rumors is like we should sign Pedro Porro from Tottenham. So he's not as good as Trent in the ball, but he's close enough and is marginally better defensively than Trent. So when Porro is here instead of Bradley, like he could easily make this pass here, here, and here because he has that ability. So that will open up the field for us and then improve us tactically. He can find the players here and here one-on-one with the defenders, and that will help our game massively. Okay, two signings I said. One is Diamante and other is Pedro Porro. So these two, if we put in Slot system, and we'll do much better than we did this season, and we will probably be close to last season. Okay. Yeah. Now I'll finish this last thing. Our structural issues and out of position. So this is our Crystal Palace game, right? So yeah, let's start with this. So this was our 4-2-4 press. So you have our four forward players here. This is Frimpong, Boboslai, Wirtz, and I think this is Rio. So, and this is McAllister. Okay. And Gravenberch is somewhere here. So this issue is entirely on Slot. So this is where he could improve on coaching, right? So we normally press with 4-2-4. We do a 4 here, but here what happened is, like, Frimpong, instead of pressing like this, he went around and then pressed the defender here. So the defender moved inside and he found Sarr here. Sarr was here. You see the whole midfield here, it's free for Sarr. Okay. So the first, and then like if you move to the next frame, right? Here, not here, wait, here. So Sarr received the ball. Now look at Gravenberch position here. So this is like this is like an intentional thing from Slot. Slot wants Gravenberch to fall back, not stay here. This is an issue from Gravenberch. He was not following the instructions properly. He either has to go here and be tight with Sarr, or fall back and add an additional man in the defense to prevent this pass from going. So Slot has like 3 options. He could pass here, he could pass here, and he could pass here. So this is fine. The Gravenberch's positioning is not great in this thing. He either has to go here or be tight with Sarr when he received the pass. So he did neither. And then like this is a coaching issue. Like you either tell This is another thing in the Crystal Palace game, right? So here is our again 4-2-4 press. So this is Gakpo, Isak, and then Salah here, and then this is Wirtz. So Wirtz has no idea whether he needs to pick him or pick him. So if he moves here, the ball goes there. Okay, if the ball goes there again, the Crystal Palace has this whole midfield to themselves, and Gravenberch is not tight, McAllister is not tight. That is fine as well, as long as you're defending the line. But once this is the tactical difference between Slot and Klopp. Klopp would have said like a Gravenberch to go be tight on this guy and McAllister to go be tight on that guy. So that would make this guy to pass long and isolate Van Dijk. You either isolate Van Dijk one-on-one or give protection to Van Dijk by dropping down McAllister and Gravenberch. But when you do that, you have to make sure that when the team gets into the final third, you are not allowing the ball. So this happened, like this is how we played against Manchester City and Anfield. But when this happened, what happened during the first goal was not the first goal, the second goal when they scored. Curtis Jones totally lost Matthias Nunes. He was in a correct position, but he couldn't follow him. So again, it comes down to two issues, like either when you fall back, mark everybody properly, or like go press high. But Slot wants everybody to fall back. That is okay. But when you fall back, that makes sure that you follow the instruction and mark everybody. So for us, like we say, like any combative defender will solve this. But again, like I don't think we will solve that. Maybe if we buy Wharton won't solve that issue. This is a coaching issue we need to solve. And this is entirely upon Slot to fix that. So two players I said was Pedro Porro and Jan Diomande.
Mm-hmm.
And one coaching issue to solve our midfield problems. I think we should still go ahead and buy Wharton, because Wharton will make that pass to free up Wirtz. So that breaking the line pass, nobody is making in our current team. And but other than that, those three players are the ones which I want us to buy, and that will improve us massively. And right away will make us title contenders.
Sheik, firstly, this is fantastic. I mean, it's fantastic. Point number 2, and that is, I think the items that you pointed out, especially us being left out in half spaces, like neither committing forward nor committing back properly. Neither. And you cannot put your leg on two different boats and then try to balance all the way. That's not possible. That is there. I think just buying 2 players probably won't solve it. We don't have a strong bench. You need to have strong supporting cast to launch a long campaign across 2 or 3 different competitions if you consider FA Cup and those things. I don't think we have that. Slot doesn't trust enough Caicedo. I don't know his fitness issues. He seems like unfit or what is, I don't know. Endo, I don't think Slot trusts, and Endo anyways is injured. But personally I like Endo. The guy who has mouth guard and he will jump in and everything. He will do everything. So he's fantastic. But not trusting. So I think just those 2 players won't solve the problem. Right back that you pointed out is truly a deep issue. We haven't solved it. Bradley seems completely out of commission all the time. Like he's good for 10 games, I think, a year. And then he's out of commission. I mean, and to be fair to Slot, right back has been a problem. Like Szoboszlai has been filling in, Curtis Jones has been filling in. So, I mean, we have to.
So yeah, I think Rio Ngumo as a quality player, he has the potential. I think that's why we should. I think Salah leaving, we need to replace Salah right away. So that's where Diomande comes in. So I think I've seen enough of him to make to know like he can beat the defender one-on-one and then put in the cross. Even if he's not scoring that many goals, I trust Isak to score goals when he is presented or given the service he's been deprived of in this Liverpool team. Buying Wharton will unlock Wirtz, and nobody is finding Wirtz in the right position. Wirtz has to carry the ball from our half to make something happen instead of us finding him in places where he can be effective. And the thing is, the 4-2 out of position press is something. This is what we did in the Slot's first season as well. But the problem was this year we are like at least a yard short when doing this year. I don't know why. It is the fitness of the players or some coaching issues, but that's entirely on Slot to fix it. Buying players like Baliba or Anderson won't fix that issue. Like it's like totally a coaching issue. So again, that comes the midfield and the things that comes down to Slot, but the build up and goal scoring opportunities, we should easily solve that with Pedro Porro and Diomande. I think one other player which is mentioned is Barcola. I don't know if he'll buy Barcola, but I think we should have Gakpo for the next season, just not as a starter though. Gakpo is not somebody who should start for a Premier League title winning team. He should not be starting. But he won't stand in the way of Rio progressing. So that's my only thing. I want Rio to progress, and Gakpo is that guy like who can act as a backup for Rio or start in case if Rio is kind of overwhelmed. Yeah, I want Rio to develop. And
one thing is, I mean, the two positions that you mentioned, that is fine. Irrespective of the players that we end up buying, that is fine. But one of the things, and I feel that gap missurges, is our defensive midfielder. That is our long-standing problem. I think many of the issues that we pointed out, like basically the midfield opening up and not being tight enough. We need someone over there not only with the technical nous to handle the role of a CDM, but also some kind of leadership ability to marshal the midfield and marshal the players around him. That person who is in that CDM position, the person who is in the defensive midfield position, they probably have the best view, like, of what is going on in front of them and has some idea what is going to be on them. That is a problem I think we need to solve. Gravenberch worked fantastically for the title winning season, but as is evident in this season, that is not true. And I personally feel right back is a problem.
Who do you think will solve that issue for us?
I don't know. I mean, what was the rumor mill saying? Wharton, right? Like one of the names.
Wharton is not a defensive midfielder, so Wharton is more of a
traditional
number 8.5 kind of a guy.
Yeah, he won't solve.
Caicedo.
See, we have been.
So, what is a realistic target? We cannot get Caicedo. We cannot get Baliba. We are not getting Anderson.
Is Zubimendi fed up with the mountains of North London?
No, see, again, Wharton is very similar to Zubimendi. Like, let's assume like we get Wharton, right? I think we will get Wharton. So Wharton will unlock Wirtz. That I am very sure about it. So I want our midfield to be Wharton, Szoboszlai, and Wirtz. Okay, and that will offer like Wirtz is like Szoboszlai is like a box to box guy. I am okay with that. He could run and run and run. He may not be as combative, but at least he can press. Yeah, and Wharton, he can pass. That guy can pass. So the way he passes like is brilliant. So I think having him in the team will unlock Wirtz, and then Wirtz will be in like advanced position rather than him. So what happened with Wirtz is like this season. So instead of him getting the ball in zone 14 areas, like in front of the box, he's dropping back to our midfield, dropping back to our defense to get the ball, and he is carrying the ball all the way to make chance for himself. So instead of that, Wharton could find Wirtz in our zone 14. So that's what I think.
I'll let Jins speak before that one more point. Like the midfield that you mentioned, that sounds fine, but does it? Like, I'm just trying to think through. Doesn't that expose our defense? Like, what would be the formation that is 4-3-2, no 4-4-2? Like, what would be the formation?
It will be 4-3-3. It depends on if Wirtz plays number 10, or it will be 4-3-3 with Szoboszlai screening the defense, and then with Wharton and Wirtz in front, like Wharton in the half spaces and Wirtz in number 10. Wharton in half spaces and Wirtz at number 10. So the idea is, this is what Slot did in first season, and I think some of the fine art games in Slot, what he did was like, his idea was to isolate wingers in the last third, one-on-one with their defense. And he expects quality from his wingers. So he expects the quality of wingers to be overcome the defenders and then create chances. Salah did this perfectly. So one thing he did in the first season is maximize Salah. Slot did that. Salah can complain all he wants, like Slot did maximize Salah in his first season. So every time Salah got the ball, he was one-on-one in the final third in the opposition half. And then the tactic was to isolate him. And the same thing he did it this season as well. But just that Salah was not as effective as he was in the previous season. Probably the teams figured out like how to handle Salah, or there was no Trent to put Salah in a position in that final third. Instead, he had to drop back to midfield to get the ball with Bradley and Gravenberch, and that kind of limited his effectiveness.
I see your point. I mean, anyways, let's hear from Jins.
Yeah, Sheik, I understand as following through what you say tactically. So again, when I say Slot out, I always keep saying it's not just Slot. I want even Hughes go to with him, because like I felt like our summer signing was the reason where we are currently the problem. Okay, let's forget everything. Like let's forget about build up, and let's forget about our major issue on the build up. How creative it. Let's forget about that. I want to understand what is Slot thinking without the ball. So he had this 4-2-4 press, and have we seen like our 4 press? Like we bought Isak, we bought Ekitike, we bought Frimpong and Wirtz. Like out of all this, Wirtz is the only player who does the press at least working hard. I've not seen Ekitike doing this press without the ball. I've not seen Isak also doing the sum. He's trying to do, but that look like he's just faking the press one, the not real press. So I want to understand, if you don't have players like Nunes or Diaz who goes with the press, like with full hearted, right? The way Mane press, the way Firmino press. So you are replacing these kind of players, and we sold Diaz and we also sold Nunes. So these are the players who will give you extra press when you don't have a ball. While getting you at least like a manager Slot, I'm sure viewers might have told him, but how can you go and find these players who cannot do a press up front, and you are still having 4-2-4 press for any team to beat our first press? It's very easy. I think even any Sunday league teams, they can beat Liverpool's that first 4 press. Okay, so that like couple of passes, you are already out of that first 4 presses. So that means you already take that 4 of your players. Then you have McAllister and Gravenberch against 3 or 4 of the opponents, and they have to take care of entire midfield. Okay, second question. So you said like last season, at least with out of position, Gravenberch was acting as a CDM, right? He was supporting the defense. Again, why this season Slot is playing him up on the field? Why do we need Gravenberch in front of the box when we already have Soboslai and Wirtz there? Why do we need Gravenberch there? Why is Gravenberch not supporting the defense? What tactical change was there to take Gravenberch forward? I know he has like more assists this season, but assist and goal. But if you take, he's one of our worst player. And the other thing I have issue with the Slot, right? If you anyway, Trent did not get Trent to extend his contract. In that place, you bought Frimpong, who is not good in right back and who is not good in right wing position. Tell me, why did we got him? What is the use of him when we are not here? And the other thing that coming from Gravenberch this season, last season he was doing that fake turn and fake press. That was all good. This season I felt like he is putting that like too much. How many times we lost the ball when he was doing it and the opponent retrieved the ball. So these are some of the issues that I find. It's with the new summer signing, it's with Slot, and it's with how he's setting up. If you cannot do better on 4-2-4, why are you still trying it? Why can't you do with the ball? I'm not talking anything about with possession. I'm talking about when we don't have the ball. We are one of the worst team. Also, the last point, every other team outrun us. What has is to do with any of the tactics? It's about the trainings that you give. It's about the structure that you give, and it's about the motivation that you give to the players. Okay, go for it. Our players, especially our midfield of McAllister and Gravenberch, they are done by like 70th minute. There is like 25 more minutes of where you can play intention. So whatever, I think 18 teams outrun us in all the games. They outrun us about this. So like you can talk about all the tacticals and other thing. Why can't the players run for the team?
Jins, one thing you mentioned Gravenberch, extremely valid points. But one thing I'd like to bring up, I think Gravenberch played more higher up or was found in more higher position this season because in my mind at least, and is because we lost Trent. So where do you get that output from to get the ball up front? Right? How to carry the ball? Trent could easily unlock that with his passes and everything. So now you need someone to do that, and with Salah holding the width and all those kind of things, it also creates kind of like a channel, if you will, right? Someone needs to get that. I think Slot tried that, to be very honest, but it did not work for whatever reasons, like fitness or whatever, like out of form, all those things. But I think Slot's intention might have been that, like to open up some kind of a creative passing, if you will, from the deep, or ball carrying from the deep, so that make up the numbers for Trent, essentially, like all those passes and everything.
Right. So yeah, I'll touch up on Frimpong a little bit, and also like on Gravenberch and why we are not running as much. I think, I'm not supporting the fact that we are running less and things like that. So if you take all our games together, right, like our expected goals for and our position, like it's always high in the league. So we are top for position, we are top for expected goals. So I think we are failing to convert them. So another thing to note is like we had Frimpong had 3 separate injuries. Bradley was gone for the whole season in January. And we had like Van Dijk, and Van Dijk at 34 is playing he has played the most minutes in Europe's top 5 leagues, not just Premier League, right? So we cannot afford an injury. So that's probably a conscious decision which Slot has taken this time, just to a risk versus reward thing, like not asking us to run more and be things like that. So the out of position press, like why Gravenberch moved in front, like that, I think that happened only during the first 10 games of the season, and after that Gravenberch started dropping back. So our build-up will look like this. Okay, so we need this triangle here with Konate, Frimpong, and here, and Gravenberch here with Gravenberch, so that we could build up like this. Okay, so when we build up like this, we can get the ball here, and then we lose out a lot over here, and that's why Salah gets the ball here instead of here. Okay, so the season before, Gravenberch was here, Konate was here, and Trent would be here. So even if Alisson finds Trent here, first thing Trent will do is find Salah here, or he will find Diaz here. Okay, the whole field opens up, right? So Frimpong and Bradley cannot do that. I don't know why we bought Frimpong. Only reason I could think of is like we bought him because he was pretty cheap. Like 35 million for a right back is like change these days. And Frimpong being in a title-winning team, I think it made absolute sense to buy him for 35 million. And he had a release clause, and we don't have to negotiate much. So that's why we bought Frimpong. So Frimpong's main attribute is what?
Pace.
Space, right? Like go here, bomb down here. Same thing with Kirkis, right? So Kirkis started, I mean, he went to ground often, but he stamped that out of his game. And then he is one of our best players this season, and he is one of our best signings as well. Like he's good defensively, and his strength, if you see Bournemouth, right? When he played for Bournemouth, it always going here and putting crosses. So that side of Kirkis never happened. That's because I don't know why. Because what happened after that Crystal Palace, Chelsea, Nottingham Forest games, right? We were trying to get our wingers one-on-one, and that was not working. So what Slot did was he asked both his fullbacks to stay back and not bomb forward. So the strength of Kirkis is going here, and Frimpong is going here. So we were not able to get them up there. So that's the first thing. Why we are not able to get them up there? Because Salah and Gakpo were like highly ineffective holding the ball, or Salah kept losing the ball, and then when he went here, the whole space opened up, and that's how Crystal Palace and Chelsea and Nottingham Forest, PSV, they all scored the goal coming from this side, from Salah's side. If you see the PSV game, right? So all their goals came from this side. Chelsea, all their goals were created from this side. So Slot tried to stop that by asking Kirkis and Frimpong to fall back, and also asking Gravenberch to fall back. So Gravenberch was not pressing anymore. He was always here. And McAllister was left alone, and we were here with the 4-2-4 press like this. So like you said, one ball here to the guy here, and McAllister will not know to press this guy or this guy here, and he will have the whole field to himself. And the Gravenberch has to fall back here. I think it's fine Gravenberch fall back here as if he is going to help when the cross comes in and defend better, then that's good enough. But if you are not doing that, like this happened in the United game, right, at Old Trafford, like we had Gravenberch here, we got McAllister here, we had Van Dijk here, Konate here, and we had Curtis Jones here, but still United scored from here. So Slot wants an extra man when they're defending crosses, but they're not doing their job. So that's what I feel. So here, like again, with Manchester City, right, their second goal when we were leading 1-0, sorry, the first goal they scored, McAllister was here, and then Bernardo Silva had the ball here, and then this guy Matheus Nunes, he made a run like this, and McAllister, instead of tracking him, he just stood still, and then he went there and made the cross. Sorry, he went there and won a penalty.
Mm-hmm.
So Sheik, you were talking about like a right back and a left winger. So two position.
Right back and a right winger. This one to replace Salah.
Yeah. So if McAllister and Gravenberch is not able to do it, yeah, I agree. Even getting a Wharton will not help that. But this is a player issue, right? Not a coaching issue. I mean, Slot wants an extra player here, an extra player here. That's fine. So probably he was brought in to reduce the injury by not running as much. Maybe that's an intentional thing Slot is doing. But when when McAllister and Gravenberch are here, they are not good enough to defend the spaces here. So yeah, we need someone who, like Caicedo. I don't know if Caicedo is available. I don't know if Baliba will be available. I don't know Anderson will be available. But Wharton will not fix this issue.
Wharton will not fix this issue. But one thing I can say is we will have more chances with Wharton in the team, and I think we'll score more than the opponent. So that's the plan. So this out of position thing, it's a coaching thing which Slot does. I think I'm just supporting Slot in the build up and things like that. I'm not supporting him in out of position. That's a structural issue he needs to solve.
No, that's what do you think of Isak? We can't say it because he's mostly injured.
Isak has not played enough games to I think one time he was getting into form, he was connecting with Wirtz, and after that we couldn't see him. He got an injury. Yeah.
No. I mean, from the glimpses that is there, he seems to understand words more than anyone else, more than Ekitike, more than Salah, more than Gakpo for sure. He seems to understand that.
Yeah, he knows where to be in the box to finish the most. So that's what sets the Isak apart.
And Jins, that is very similar to, I don't know if I should call it understanding or training or whatever it is. Trent and Salah were on the same page, were on the same wavelength. They used to systematically understand where that pass was going to, because that is very important to build up that chemistry, to know the other person's game, where it is going and everything. It's very intuitive. Trent and Salah had that. And I noticed glimpses of that between Isak and Wirtz.
So the entire problem with Liverpool team, right? We have all the issues. One, we don't have a pacey wingers who is good in dribbling. Second,
One-on-one, yeah.
one-on-one, yeah. So second, if you don't have that, right, you need a solid physical midfield. For example, take Aston Villa midfield. All these guys, Onana, Kamara, like McGinn and others, right? Tillemans, like they're good physically. They can they can do that physical, like they will make sure that they are there. And also, I feel like our players, they're being too soft. Like I am not seeing them, going for like the hard push. So that is another issue. Okay, Sheik, one question. So like whatever Slot is trying to build, this was built based on the wingers having that one-on-one position. Then the best dribbler was Luis Diaz. You sold him. Like, that was the best business that Liverpool could have. Like no issues. But how can you think Gakpo will solve that issue? And don't tell me that we thought we will bring Rio. You can't bring a 17, 16-year-old.
No. See, that was a mistake. That's the thing on Hughes, right? So Slot did not have a say on Luis Diaz sales. Like if he was given a chance, he was managing Liverpool, he would have kept Luis Diaz. It was a business decision entirely from Hughes. We could not give him the salary he was asking for. So, and he said he wanted to move if you're not offering the salary. And Bayern came up with an offer, and they gave us the money. We let him go. So that's what happened. Slot has no say in the transfers. That much we can infer from what happened this season. He was left with an unbalanced squad. He tried to make the best use of what he had. He tried to maximize Salah again, but Salah couldn't replicate. But there were not enough support cast to find Salah in a position. Like, remember the first game against Bournemouth, right? Salah created the opportunity for Caicedo. So he found, Salah was found where? In the last third of the field. When you find Salah in that part of the field, he is going to make things happen. He almost broke the assist record last season. He can create goals for others. He can create goals for himself. So that Salah was absent this season. Salah could say all he wants about Slot and what happened and things like that. He did not perform to the level he was supposed to perform. So that I can say. I am in support of Salah. What he came out and said and all those things are fine. But if you look at yourself, like have you performed to the same level like you performed to the last season? That's a question I'm asking Salah. You have not. And Slot tried to maximize you the same way at the start of the season, and it did not work. Chelsea targeted the space behind you. PSV targeted the space behind you. Crystal Palace targeted the space behind you. So all those teams targeted space behind Salah because Salah was not effective. So every time he had ball, he had at least two people surrounding him, and he was getting the ball not in the right place. He was getting the ball in the midfield. So all those things are a problem. So Slot tried to maximize Salah and failed. So that's what happened. And again, so to atone for his failure, he dropped Salah and made us more solid. But by dropping Salah, we lost the quality on the wings. And Gakpo is not a Premier League winning winger. He is not a player who should start for a Premier League winning team. Because like Jins said, he plays the game in slow motion. And he cannot... I think he has some kind of a peripheral vision problem. Like he cannot see what is going on his left. He can only see what is going on the right.
The main problem with Gakpo, he's not flexible. So if you give the ball to Diaz, he could just stand there and then he will get that that fraction of speed, right? Gakpo, he need like a kind of motion to do something. If he is like a standing position and if he is receiving the ball, he cannot dribble, he cannot pass, he cannot make any of it. Yeah, I think that was one of the I don't know about this season, but from Klopp's side, he was one of the worst signing we made. He's not up to the Premier League standards. But I understand what Klopp was trying to do because Firmino was leaving, and he thought that he could make Gakpo some kind of player.
Firmino, yeah.
Yeah, but it didn't work out.
Yeah, maybe maybe Klopp had the vision maybe Gakpo could play in the center, not try those cuttings and everything. But Gakpo couldn't adapt.
Yeah. Klopp bought him for as a Firmino replacement.
Yeah, I want to talk about one of not Gakpo. You mentioned about the midfield, right? Like hardworking midfield, let's say Milner, Henderson, Gini Wijnaldum, our favorite midfield, I guess by far. That midfield, but that midfield only works if you have a supreme front, three, whatever, and a tremendous back four. That midfield only works because you need the creative output.
Yes, especially you need a right back like Trent. Yes. And a peak Robertson.
Yes, that only works over there because otherwise the front three will be left high and dry. They don't have any supply or anything. You can fight as much as you want. You can push opponents as much as you want, but you need to get the ball to the front.
Right. So
Check. Sorry.
So yeah, like you said, Jins, Slot was left with an unbalanced squad to start the season. So we did not replace Trent adequately. We did not replace Luis Diaz and Darwin Núñez adequately. We did not replace anybody on the left wing adequately. And then Salah was waning. He was not on the up. I was okay with with us, giving a 2-year contract. But this season, yes, I won't say he has completely fallen off, but Slot was thinking like, okay, he could rely on Salah for one more season, and while he was relying on Salah, he could bed in Wirtz, Isak, and Ekitike and those kind of players. But Salah was not giving the same output, so that put more pressure on Wirtz and Isak and Wirtz and Ekitike, and they tried everything to do on their own, and then that's where I think the whole thing collapsed. And
Sheik, one more thing, I think you are right in the sense, like, and to be very honest, I don't think Slot is stupid, right? I mean, that is a possibility he has. And Salah's output last season was humongous. I don't think anybody realistically expected him to have that season. Like, he probably felt like if Salah even does 60% of what he did, plus with Isak and Ekitike coming in, they could replicate the numbers over there, and then, like, add the number of goals and all those kind of things.
Yeah, I think a couple of things here. First thing, when they started the season, right? Maybe a little bit of arrogance from Slot, thinking that I just win the Premier League last season. It's not a big deal. I will do it. So first thing, I felt like we went with some arrogance in our team, thinking that if we buy all these superstars, the opponents, maybe apart from Chelsea, Arsenal, City, maybe those kind of teams, apart from those teams, other 14 teams, they will just park the bus because they are scared of our attackers. So that is some understanding that these entire team had. They underestimated the Premier League. So what happened now? Like a Brentford team, they did their like parking the bus. But once you lost the ball, they put it into the spaces where you left behind, and there were runners that was going for it. I think we didn't even plan for it. So I think this latest press conference from Slot, it was kind of acknowledgement. Okay, we made a mistake. We went all the tacticals and go ahead.
No, that's where like you said, we started the season like that. I think during that period between December and January, he kind of understood that, and he started bringing everybody back, and we were solid defensively, and that's where we got like unbeaten run and all those stupid 0-0 draws and 1-1 draws. Go ahead. So I just wanted to,
from the latest press conference, it was evident that, okay, they're acknowledging it. Yes, we made a mistake. We went this way and the league went just opposite of the way. We were not equipped with that. The other thing is like we didn't had a proper preseason. I know like we cannot use Jota as an excuse, but the way like Robertson was saying that even when their preseason starts, they don't want to do any training because they were completely broken, right?
Yeah.
And even the physios don't want to do any of the extra care they were doing it. So the entire club, for us, it might not be that much of emotional with all, but it's one of their buddies. So the complete preseason was messed up. It's kind of like everything falls, like whatever falls correctly, like last season, it just went opposite
this season.
Yeah. So, yep.
Cool. But I think the squad, at least the quality of players that we have, this is the magic of any system, whether it's the share market or anything like that. It will always try to revert to the mean. So what we are seeing this season, that is not mean. What will happen is the game is technical. People will try to play it a technical way, nice way, and we have the players for that. It might not happen this season as well, but it will happen maybe the season after that. So we have the squad for that. That's what I see.
Sheik, I will support Slot if his and Edwards and Hughes plan. Okay, we cannot do a transition in one season. Okay, we need at least 2 seasons to find out what we needed. So last season, whichever opportunity they did like with the transfer. And if they expected, okay, this season we are not going to win anything. But the other side, if I look into it, right, again, I keep saying that result doesn't matter for me. Like 20 losses, it's fine. But the problem for me, I'm not seeing the performance. Where is going to improve?
So that's been documented. So the performance has to improve. The coaching, like I said, and out of position needs to improve, and all those things are there. But I'm just saying, like I can see what Slot was trying to do and why the players and the squad was not up to it, like the way he estimated them to be. Yeah. So I think this is a good place to. I did have many points, like probably we can do another podcast, end of season review, and keep sell and things like that. So. Yeah, it was great. Like great discussion, and hopefully you guys enjoyed it. So for more contents like this, again, you need to like and subscribe us. And
for fans of Money Heist, Sheik was like the professor today, explaining to Jins and myself what is the plan and everything.
That was good one, Sheik. Yeah, good homework on it. Yep, excellent.
I couldn't get the clips in because of the copyrights. So we'll see.
I was so engrossed with it. I actually took my pen and I was like, okay, yeah, that is true. Then the title is like, I started doing it on my phone.
So if you like this content, again, like and subscribe us, support us, know us in the comments how we are doing, what sort of content you want to see, and what sort of emotion you would like us to convey and things like that. So keep it coming, and we will see you in another episode of Chai and Clean Sheets. So signing off today, Sheik, Jins and JD.